Alex.
Yeah.
You're here. You made it.
Hi.
Thanks for coming to the It's Show Business Podcast.
Yay. I'm a fan.
You're a fan? Have you listened?
I've listened to 3 episodes.
Oh, which ones?
DJ, Dave Waite, and Neil Nanda.
Oh, nice. Those are 3 great ones.
Yeah. So, well, you know, I like to do, I listened to Neil's before, and then whenever I'm coming onto a podcast, if I can, I like to try to listen to a couple that week so I can kind of get the vibe of it.
The vibe of what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. And also, I'm a big fan of all those guys. So, I like listening to how they talk about comedy and, you know.
It's fun. Like, I can listen to people talk about comedy forever. Like, I never get tired of talking about it.
I know, me too. I mean, that's what pretty much every one of my podcasts, it's either some sort of inspirational thing that I listen to, or it's just like a comedy interview of some kind, or just people just talking about their road stories, things like that. I mean, whatever it is, I'm just interested in how people live this life.
Totally, because it's like, it's exciting. It's forever changing. The landscape is constantly shifting, and it's a somewhat of a boom.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when that boom is going to pop, because like I keep kind of waiting for the fact. I mean, like, here's the thing. There is a boom. However, I feel like in some ways it kind of already has popped, because even though there's so many ways to make money in comedy right now, it's so hard to actually make a living off of it because everyone expects you to give them things for free. So the longer, like where it used to be like, hey, just stay in it for 10 years, you're going to be fine. That's enough time for you to go out on the road to make a consistent living as a feature. Then you'll become a headliner. Then you'll get TV. And now all of that is flipped, because you can't really make a living off a feature anymore. Even as a headliner, you have to do 35 to 40 weeks a year just to really make ends meet, just to scrape by. So you have to like siphon it with TV appearances and things like that, and you have to hope that all these things come. I feel like just the entire industry has flipped from what it used to be.
Hollywood's always been a town where it's like, please work for little to nothing, and then there'll be some big payoff. Even the jobs, like when people have regular jobs, they pay less in Hollywood versus like if you do social media for a media company versus if you did it for like Raytheon or something. Like if you did it for like a real company, like you get paid almost twice as much.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they know we're desperate. Desperate's the right word. I was about to say that's not the right word, but it is. They know we'll cling to anything just to be in this business. So they're like, hey, unpaid internship, and you're like, okay, is that going to get me where they're going? They're like, no, but we'll make you think it is.
Yeah, you'll be great. You'll know where all the dry cleaners are for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Coffee shops, paper, print shops, all those things.
It's a catch-22 because like now you can't do unpaid interns. It's pretty much illegal.
Right.
But it used to be a path. Like I started as an unpaid intern. I was working in a recording studio, and I made coffee and did all those things, and there was a path. So it's like, and now you kind of you lose that and you gain something, you know?
But for comedian, there is no path of that. Like, yes, if you're working in an agency, they're going to start you in the mailroom, of course, and make you say, hey, if you're great in the mailroom and you can do really well here, then we're going to see that you can move up. However, with comedians, you know, eventually it does come down to you're either funny or you're not. You either work hard or you don't, because there's all these other things that go into it. Mm-hmm. And over time, it's just figuring out, like, how do I fit into this niche world? Like, how can I carve out my own little microcosm so that I have a fan base of people who will support me and that people will pay me money to do this thing consistently?
Absolutely. And like we all have a comedian / something, and it's like just making sure whatever the / is doesn't become your primary thing. You kind of like lose the comedian. You know, like it's like the actor / comedian is very different from the comedian / actor.
You know, when I moved out here to act, I was already in SAG. I joined SAG while I was in college. I did a couple films when I was in Pittsburgh, and I moved out here to be an actor. And for the first, like, I started doing stand-up about 5 months later, and for the first 3 years or so that I was doing stand-up, I was like, oh, I'm an actor who does comedy. Right. And then there was this very clear shift where I was like, no, like this is my life. I do this every day. I write every day. I go out to open mics to like 7-10 times a week. Like, I'm a comedian now. And then the acting thing just fell by the wayside, and I still love to act, but like there was a very clear day when it felt better to call myself a comedian than it did an actor who did comedy. You know, I like that term.
And becomes like who you are, and there's a certain truth to it, and you can't escape it. And I was listening to Michael Yo's pod when he was on Rogan the other day, and it's just like it just becomes like, this is what I want to do. You do it and you're like, this is me, and it totally just clicks. Or sometimes it doesn't.
Well, that's the thing is, like, even though I still work a regular day job, right?
Yeah.
I'm almost 11 years deep into comedy, and I still work a regular job because even though I literally could survive off comedy, it would not be any sort of lifestyle that I would want to live. So I work a regular job when I'm not traveling, and sometimes I used to feel like I'm not a real comedian because I have to work this regular job. But then I got to this point where it's like, what are you talking about? Like, do you work at Universal Studios or are you a comedian? How would you identify yourself? I go out every night and I do comedy. I'm around comedians. I've been on TV for of course I'm a comedian. And the day job, it just supplements the lifestyle that I want to live so that I don't freak out if I don't get a club weekend when I need it.
Yeah, it gives you more freedom to be a better comedian if you don't have
100%
to like strive or like, compromise yourself to do this one role or something, whatever it is. Like, you have this baseline income.
I used to fantasize about the struggle though, because we all know those comedians who are like, I'm living out of my car. I don't need to get a regular job. It's just comedy for me. And you're like, whoa, that seems cool. And then you're like, well, you smell. You haven't had a shower. You can't go on a date if you wanted to. If your car breaks down, you're fucked and you can't pay for it. Whereas like I go on vacations, I take care of my family. If a friend wants to go out to dinner, I'm like, yeah, let's go. I'm not like, is it Chipotle? Please tell me it's Chipotle. I'm like, no, I'm comfortable, and that allows me the freedom to create. I can take the time to myself to go meditate and exercise in the park and not worry that I'm not making money right now.
Right. And I don't think there's any like bias against it anymore. I think at some point Hollywood was very like, I'm the image, and now everything is so transparent. Like, we all know, everyone knows everything everyone's doing, and no one judges you for it.
We have become like, just mirrors of ourselves, because like literally like we're talking about on this podcast right now. I just let you know, everybody, I have a day job. If you want to come see me at Universal Studios Hollywood, I'll be in the ticket booth all week, and you can go, hey, isn't that guy from Comedy Central and America's Got Talent? And I'll be like, yeah. And they'll be like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I just told you. Listen to Latif Tayour's podcast.
Listen to the pod, and also drive by the Improv because my face will also be on the marquee.
Yeah, it's just like it's the dichotomy of it all. Sometimes it's weird to like go to work in the morning and put on a uniform and a name tag, because like literally there will be nights when like I am in front of hundreds of people that are applauding me like I'm a rock star. Right. And then I go home and I go to sleep and I wake up in the morning and it's, hi, welcome to Universal. My name's Alex. Where are you visiting from?
Yeah.
And honestly, like, it used to really bother me. And then I got to this point where it has humbled me so much and made me appreciate the life that I live, because my coworkers don't get that side of things. They go to work and then they go home and they watch TV and they're with their families and they don't have anything that's really stimulating them. Yeah. Whereas I run out of that job and I'm like, now the real work begins. Let's have fun.
And you're like, that is like, if you're talking about, oh, you miss a struggle, that's your struggle. You're like, one day I want this to be 100% comedy. Oh, yeah. But your struggle is not like, I don't know how to pay my bills. Everyone has whatever struggle they're wanting to do, but we live in an economy where we have to pay for stuff. And LA costs money.
LA costs a lot of money.
And to invest in things like you have a podcast.
I do.
And so to be able to invest in that podcast requires money, etc.
Right.
And you're being able to invest in your career because you have cash flow.
That's the beauty of me working my regular job, is that all of my comedy money doesn't support me. It goes into an account where I save it, so I have a safety net for when the day comes that I do have to break away from my day job, but maybe I don't have the most consistent income, I'm going to be okay. Or let's say I have a project I want to do that's going to cost me $5,000 and I have to invest my own money in it, but I believe in it. That's okay. I have that money to just invest in a project right now. And I don't have to go on GoFundMe and beg my friends and family to support my career. Like, I'm supporting my own career by working my ass off every single day. And I know the end is near of me and my day job. I know it is, because the way I've consistently grown every single year, I've watched like my monetary money from comedy go up like consistently every single year. And I know where it's going. So at this point, it's just a matter of time and waiting it out and just not letting it frustrate me when I have to go.
Absolutely. And so you just started a podcast recently?
It's been a little over a year.
Yeah.
It's called Achilles Heel. It's basically, it came out of this necessity where I always wanted a podcast just because I love talking to people.
Yeah, you have a good podcast voice too.
Thank you
It's
very much.
entertaining.
Very radio voice.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I always wanted a podcast because I love talking. And that's a comedian. Hey, if you're a comedian that doesn't love talking, get out. But basically, a friend of mine was like, Alex, like you have so much attention on you right now. This is like right after America's Got Talent. He's like, everyone knows who you are, but like nobody knows the real you. Like you're this empathetic and loving person. You're very silly, but they only know you as this freakazoid roast character that you put on television multiple times. So like people just think you're an asshole. And I was like, you're right. And so I came up with this concept, Achilles Heel, where it's basically we talk about the one thing in your life that fucks you up the most. What is your biggest weakness that has shaped you as a person, that you battle every day, that you learn to laugh at, that really makes you who you are? You can't shake this thing no matter what. And so every episode is like sex addiction with this person, social anxiety with this person. And the amount that it has taught me over like 60 episodes that I've done is immeasurable. I mean, I've learned that we're all so fucked up. We all have the same, even though we all have different problems, we all have the same exact problems. And listening to people talk about this every week is just been so good for my mental health, and also just so good for, I think, my comedy, because we're just sitting in there laughing at all of these things that people are like, this is the worst problem in my life. And when two comedians or artists get together and talk about it, you know, a normal person that's sitting in Idaho can listen to that and go, oh, I should look at it a different way.
Right.
You know?
It's introspective, it's therapeutic for both parties, and it's fun. So, I mean, those are three great things to have in a podcast.
Yeah, and it allows me to really be myself, and it allows me, I make very inappropriate jokes. I always tell the guests that, I'm like, hey, look, you might be crying, and I might drop a joke about it, like right then. and they're always like, it's okay, cool. I'm just like, that's part of it, is that it can't just be like all depression in there.
Right.
There are times when it gets very vulnerable and very real, which is what I want, but then we have to break that tension and make it still a fun podcast.
I think one of the things I would need to address would be I majorly stress eat. Like I just like if I get off a stressful phone call, I just grab a bag of chips. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not even hungry.
Exactly, and you're not thinking about it. It's just impulse.
Impulse to like say, it's like self-medicating with like food.
Yep, exactly. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did watch your America's Got Talent where you did roast everyone. And you're right. I was like, who is this guy? Because it's not the guy that I know. Like the very sweet, very like.
No, it's a character.
Yeah.
Like that's like, I didn't want to, like, people are like, why didn't you do stand up on that show? You could have gone really far. And I'm like, no, my stand up is not right for that audience. Like, I try to be dark and progressive, and they need just run of the mill, like, they need family friendly America. And I just went on there, and they wanted a roaster, and I showed them this character, and I was like, let me do something really original and really fun, and they just loved it.
And it was viral.
Yeah, it has, at this point, like, overall, it has over 60 million views.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, it blew me up so much. It put me into the spotlight. It allowed me to start headlining clubs. Like, before I was like, really like stringing together my own road dates at bars and like just local shows and things like that. And this allowed me to reach out to clubs and be like, hey, I got these credits now. I got Comedy Central. I got America's Got Talent. And now I was able to start headlining at like B and C clubs on the road and do like and now I'm getting into one-nighters at like A clubs. So I'm starting to headline improvs on like Wednesdays and Sundays and things.
I saw some of the banners up.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where it's, it's all working, and you just have to find a way to make it work for you.
It was good that you, like, for you to be like that self-aware to recognize, okay, like I'm not going to go to the end. This is what they want. Because it's all, that comedy is turned into casting in a way, but that show is extremely casting. Like, it's like a little bit of competition, but it's also they're casting different roles. It's media. And so for you to capture that and get the most out of it, that's like a really good business approach to it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, even though I didn't go through any rounds, I feel like I won that show.
Yeah.
Like, because what they want is something polarizing. They either need a sob story, they're like, my mom is dead and now I sing songs, and people are like, oh my God, that's the greatest thing I ever heard.
Yeah.
Or they need something horrible that's just going to be like unite America to be like, this is the worst thing we've ever seen. Or they need something like what I did that's just so bizarre and unusual, but that will take the internet, even though it was hated in the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so hated. I felt like I had never bombed so hard in my entire life.
Right.
The loud, like 3,000 people screaming at you at the same time is the loudest thing you've ever heard. And I don't care how strong you are, it will fuck you up. Like the negative energy pouring through my body was insane for hours on end afterwards. But then it hits the internet, and all of a sudden the internet's like, we love this guy. Because then I realized I was like, oh, I'm a troll. I was just a real life troll. And I never thought of myself that way.
Analog troll.
Yeah, exactly. Like I came out of the mom's basement. I wasn't just sitting behind a computer, and I told this shit to people's faces.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden I was like lifted up on the shoulders of the internet. And instead of like, because I wasn't going to read any comments, you know, like don't read internet comments if you're
it's
a
not a
comedian.
good idea.
It's never good. But then I was like, one of my friends like, Alex, are you reading these comments? I was like, no, I don't want to know. He goes, no, go read the comments. They love you. And like literally thousands of people are like, yeah, this guy rules. Like, this guy's a legend. Yeah, somebody had to tell it to these faces.
Right.
Yeah, screw PC America. This is what we need. And I was like, whoa. Like, suddenly it opened a conversation that we're all like, that we're too liberal, we're too snowflakes and all these other things. And I was just like, that we need to be able to laugh at ourselves, that celebrities need to be able to like take a joke. And I was like, this has gone far beyond what I thought was going to happen.
Did they know you were going to roast them?
Producers do. The judges in the audience don't.
Oh, so none of the judges knew it was coming?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No. Which is kind of like, it's kind of a cheap shot, because in a roast, you should probably know you're about to get roasted. That's part of a roast. But, there were such softball jokes that I was like, who cares? They'll be fine.
They took it well. Like, they took it like they're all TV professionals, but they took it like they knew it was coming.
Yeah. But that's, what makes it so good is that every time I roast another one, they just hit that button.
Yeah.
So I'm literally getting buzzed right down the line and just continuing to go while the audience is getting angrier and angrier.
Oh, man.
I mean, honestly, like when I think about it now, like obviously I laugh about it, but I spent 2.5 months after that going, oh my God, what have I done? Like, what is that going to look like? They can edit that any way they want. This could be so terrible.
Right.
Like, they could put this out as like, big shot comedian thinks he's hot shit. Whatever they, whatever they want to do, they could do. And I got very lucky that producers really respected what I did. And so when they released the clip as professional roaster insults the judges panel, I was like, oh, you just elevated my career 1,000%.
Yeah. And as much as it was like probably big in the moment, you're probably not being stopped for it today, are you? Like on the street?
Sometimes, every once in a while, yeah. I mean,
wow.
it was. I mean, that summer was crazy. I mean, it was like 3 to 5 times a day I was getting stopped.
Oh wow.
And it was mostly all good. The very first thing that happened, the very first person that stopped me was the next morning. I was at work. She goes, "You were on TV last night," and I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "You bombed," and I was like, "Oh man, is this what I'm in for?"
Right.
But then after that, it was mostly people that were pretty excited about it. But even still, I still get recognized from it every once in a while. Now that I grew the mustache, I kind of am a little bit more incognito.
Right.
But it's definitely the reason why a lot of people come to shows.
Oh, that's great.
When I'm on the road.
I'm glad to hear it's sustained and kept your audience alive. That's amazing.
Yeah, and then I proved to them that I can do stand-up too. And I'm like, if you like that, you will like what I do as a stand-up comedian.
Better.
Because it's silly, it's dark, it's just like, it's kind of out there. It's just like, it's all me, but that is just such a heightened version of this character that I like to play.
Right. And that's what's so great about your stand-up. It is all you, and also nobody is doing you because it's so authentic to your own voice.
Well, that takes a long time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know that. I mean, that's one of those things where like for the first few years, it's just like get good, right? You just want to get good. You just do as much stage time as possible. You experiment with all these different styles and all these different types of jokes. Do I want to do one-liners? Do I want to do stories? Do I want to do weird act outs?
Yeah.
And then eventually you start to hone in, well, what am I as a person, and what do I want to become? What's the ultimate version of myself that I want to be? And if you start really realizing where you want to go, you'll start writing more for yourself and everything that comes out will be something that is so unique to you.
Right.
I never worry about somebody writing a joke like that I wrote, because if you eventually if you're writing topical jokes, sure, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if you're writing jokes that are really about you and your experience and how you see the world, then how is anyone going to write a joke that's yours?
Yeah. How are they going to tell your story? They can't, because it's yours.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, I realized, like, I started going to music festivals in 2011, and music festivals really, like, changed the way I saw the world and changed the way I saw myself. And I used to just be a jeans and t-shirt guy. And then I started realizing that I like wearing these silly outfits, and I like kind of gallivanting around and just being, just this very silly, loving person. And when I realized I can cater my stand-up to that, but there's still this dark side of me that's kind of just like brewing from within that creeps out. With the trifecta of all of those things comes together, and then you have these very dark edge with a silly undertone that kind of has come to define my stand-up.
Yeah, like the bit you have about the self-help books, like that is amazing. I love that.
Thank you. That's one of my favorites, and I mean it's one of my newest, like, bigger pieces, and that's the thing is, like, that's like a piece, that's not even just a joke. Like, when I started writing that, I was like, how that came to be is like, why are self-help books so aggressive these days? Right. Yeah. Which is a thing that many stand-ups could see. Like, they're called like, fuck you, just get it together and all this. And any stand-up could see that. But then I was like, well, okay, if any stand-up could see that, what's my approach?
Right.
And then I realized, like, these are like drugs. Like, people are I'm reading these books, and now I can't stop reading these books, and they keep getting stronger and stronger. And I just realized, I was like, oh, that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
I'll just same way you can get addicted to drugs, I'll get addicted to self-help, and I'll just write this entire journey of me going off the deep end. And it was one of those things where once I had that idea, I sat down and I wrote it, and I wrote the whole thing out. So the very first time I did that bit, it wasn't by any means near completion, but it was already 50% of the way there, because I had done the work ahead of time to be like, I know where I want this to go. Not just, I will take this to the stage and I will discover.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
that's
if
fun.
you know the in and the out, then you can work out the middle. As long as you know how you're getting out of it, you can play around when you're on stage and all that.
And anytime I force myself to write, it's always going to be better. Anytime I have an idea and I go, just sit down at your computer and just take it until you don't even know where it is anymore.
Put the phone away.
Yep.
I saw that. I'm going to show you this thing. Hold on.
Oh, you have those lock cases?
Neil Brennan posted about this, and I bought one.
Yeah. I remember this was a Shark Tank product years ago.
That's right. Yeah. You put the phone in. You can cookie lock it. Let's say 21 minutes. There we go. Boom. You can't get at it.
Nope.
Take that, kids.
You're just going to see emergency call all of a sudden be like, nah!
Right, 911. Yeah, it locks, and then you're done.
No, that's so great. I mean, that's because the distractions these days, it's so easy to be like, ooh, let me research something real quick, and I'll pick up my phone to open Google, and the next thing I know, I'm checking everything.
Yeah, so you take a piece of paper, you write all the stuff you want to Google later, and then you're done.
Yeah, and that's, those traps are it's so easy to fall into them right now, and I have to give myself that time, because anytime I sit down and write, the joke is infinitely better than when I just take it to the stage and go, I'll figure it out.
Oh, of course. Yeah, because it's deliberate practice and deliberate execution, which is always, even if it doesn't go as well as you thought, at least you gave it 100% of your thought and your process to it, and then you can be like, all right, that's a 7 out of 10. I either need to make it better or just give up on it.
And you can edit. You can say, that's not the best analogy. So what is a better analogy? And then you sit there and you delete that one and you write another one and you write another one until eventually you go, oh, there it is. Like, I can sit down and write a script and be funny, like, consistently throughout it. I can't just walk on stage and just start spewing off the top of my head, because honestly, my brain, it works in too much of an ADD manner. Mm-hmm. Like, when I'm on stage, if I'm not prepared, I'm just talking nonstop with hardly any pauses.
Filling the air.
Exactly, because I'm too afraid to stop talking, because then I think I won't be able to find it. And that's antithetical to what I need to be doing because I need to sit down. I need to have moments, and I need to be a little more like curated, but still free up there. And the best way I can do that is if I know what bits I'm kind of going into with.
Mm-hmm. Are you a roast battle comic? Because I saw you at the Jeff Ross's pop-up thing where you're spinning the sign.
I did roast battle for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not a roast battle comic.
Yeah.
I'm not offended by that by any means, because for a long time, that's how people associated me.
Oh, they did?
For sure. Well,
Okay.
I was the number one. I was the roast battle champion at the Comedy Store for over a year straight.
Okay.
Like I was the champion for a long time. I was like one in the top 10 for most of my tenure there, and I did a ton of roast, and I was on 2 seasons of roast battle. So I was just like, for a long time, that's how people associated me. But I think the reason I was good at roast battle is because I was already a good stand-up and I was good at writing. So I would take the time to write these bits, and like roast battle made me a better comic because it made me way more economical with my words, way more punchy. I was like, I want these jokes to hit hard and fast. And so it made my stand-up way better, while it was helping my career by putting me in front of important people like Jeff Ross and, Joe Rogan and Sebastian Maniscalco. I mean, these are all people that like watched me do this thing and praised me for how good I was at it. So it made me go like, oh, well, yeah, well, I'd like you to see my stand-up too. And that's really how I got into the Comedy Store. So the reason I got development at the Comedy Store is because Adam was watching me do roast battle, and I was like, hey, I do stand-up too. And he was like, okay, let me watch you do that. And then next thing I knew, I was able to start calling in and start getting regular spots there.
Oh, it's interesting, because I know you as a comedian first. Then I found out about America's Got Talent. Then I found out about roast battle.
Good.
Yeah.
That's the way
So I think
like
it's working.
Yeah. I mean, however you find me is great.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing is like, there's this, it's a weird thing when you become known for roasting, because then people just want you to roast all the time. And that's a part of what I do. But I do many different things, and I don't ever want to get put into some box, because I like that I have many different talents and skills that I can show you. Like, I've done so many bizarre projects and created shows, and like, taken things to festivals, and I made a calendar of my pug and I doing yoga together, and I made it onto the Ellen show.
Yeah, that was great.
I just do things that I go, well, what's no one else going to do? No one else is going to do this, right? I did comedy on a slack line at the Improv just because no one else has ever done that before.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to stand on a 1-inch tightrope and do a 7-minute set.
Right.
Anything that comes into my head, it just starts to kind of, if it festers there long enough, I'm like, I have to do this thing. And usually it's something where I'm combining multiple talents that I have that would be like, and people always go, why would you do that? And it's like, don't worry about it, because that's what is in my head that I have to do, and no one else is going to do it. So who knows which of these things is going to make me pop,
And you're taking the ideas to its furthest execution. Like, you didn't just do a calendar. You got it on the Ellen show.
Yeah, which was insane. I mean, like, that was Troy Conrad shot that. I told him this idea.
I love Troy.
He's
Shout
the
out
best.
Troy.
He's so great.
Yeah.
And such an eloquent speaker. He's one of those people that really inspires me to finish projects and be better about everything that I do. I told him this idea while we were at a music festival doing comedy. He was shooting our show, and I told him about Pug Yoga, and he goes, Alex, why are we not doing this right now? And I was like, well, we could do something. He's like, Alex, no, that's great. Let's go shoot that thing. And I was like, okay. And we put so much love into this calendar. And then when you put love into something and you really work your ass off on it, amazing things can happen. If you believe in something, you don't half-ass it.
Right.
Like, in my mind, Pug Yoga was going to be, we'll take some pictures, we'll go to Vistaprint, and we'll put a calendar out.
Right.
And then I got a design. My best friend who's a graphics designer, owns his own motion graphics company. He's like, let me design this thing and I'll make it beautiful for you. Let's make it like as good as we possibly can. And then we made like a video showcasing it. And next thing we knew, somebody from Ellen was like, hey, we're doing this segment. We want one of your calendars.
Right.
And I was just like, okay, what? Okay. And then I didn't even know what was going to happen. Like, because it was 2 months after they asked for a calendar, all of a sudden I start getting texts in the middle of the day. Do you know you're on Ellen right now? And I was like, what? And somebody sent me a clip of Ellen holding up my calendar and me like on the screen behind her,
Yeah.
no shirt, yoga pants, my pug on my back. And I was just like, what the fuck is happening in the world? Like how did it get here? And and then the answer is because I put everything into it.
Yeah.
Because I believed in it.
Thinking big, it takes the same amount of energy to think small as to think big.
Yep.
And you're not trailing somebody else. You're not saying, what did that guy do 6 months ago? I'm going to do that. You're like, this is original to me.
Yes.
And those two things combined, people are like, they want to be a part of it. Everyone wants to be a part of the person who's thinking differently and doing things their own way. Because it's more exciting than just being like, oh, it's like a B level version of this guy.
Yeah, and part of that is like you have to be willing to fail.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Anytime you are doing something against the grain that hasn't been done before, it's terrifying because you're like, well, what if this doesn't work?
Yeah.
But you can live your whole life thinking, what if this doesn't work? Or you can try things and put your effort into it, and then who knows? Maybe you'll break the mold and be the one that excels in whatever it is you're doing. And that was one. Like I just read a book. You're talking about thinking big. I literally just read a book called The Magic of Thinking Big.
I love the magic. It's right here.
Dude, you got it?
It's somewhere there. Yeah.
Dude, I read that one a couple months ago, and then I followed it up, right? Read this,
Yeah.
which here's the thing. This is very funny, by the way, because it was written in the 50s. And so some of the analogies they use,
Right.
they'll be like, you have to look at how you present yourself. Do people come up to you and say, hello, sir? Or do they say, what's up, Mac? And I'm like, no one, I kind of wish they would say, what's up, Mac?
Oh, we should bring back What's Up, Mac. Yeah.
But this book, like it really, like it gets you really going. Like just look at where you want to go. Don't be afraid of telling people where you want to go.
Yeah.
I read this book back to back with Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Have you read that one?
I have read that one, yeah.
So it was like literally, I went into this year going, okay, you spent all these years making these projects, thinking, how are you going to get good at comedy? How are you going to really get out by being good? Well, now you're good. So now what are you going to do with it? So I read these books back to back, and I came in with a clear plan of action of like what I'm doing this year to get me out of my day job so I can really start I don't want to walk through a door this year. I want to break through a wall.
I love that.
Yeah, I want a Kool-Aid man into comedy, into the world of comedy this year, where all of a sudden people go, where the fuck did this guy come from?
Yeah.
And so literally I've always been persistent. I've always had the burning desire, but now I have the call to action to be able to really get myself where I want to go.
Yeah, that should be your Netflix special, just a wall and you break through it.
I'm working on a special. That's part of all this.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's part of it is like I have an idea for a special that is very, very unique to me, and no one has ever done something like this before. And that's going to work both for me and against me. Like I said, like, people are afraid to do something new.
Yeah.
But if you find the right person that believes in it and go, oh, I understand you and I understand this. Let's develop this. Let's make this happen.
Yeah. Even when I was starting this podcast, you're like, oh, there's so many podcasts. Like, should you just be another one?
There's only 700,000.
But yeah, there's 900,000 now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And it's like, but you just have to start and just not be. We never know what inning of things we're in. Are we in inning 2 of podcasts? Is it inning 9 till it's over? So you might as well start and be a part of it. If it takes off, it doesn't. There's always going to be a million people telling you why you shouldn't do something.
Yep, and fuck those people.
Yeah.
Honestly, anyone who tells you why you shouldn't do something, that person is not your friend. They are not your teammate. You need the people that will champion you. You need the Troy Conrads of the world who will say, that's not a stupid idea, Alex, and if you do it, who knows what will happen.
Yeah.
That's what you need. And I encourage every single person I meet. When I meet somebody and they tell me an idea, I'm like, do you have a plan? What are you doing with it? Like, what are you going to do to make that thing happen? No matter how outlandish it is, if you believe in it, that's yours. And you can do anything with it. Everyone's crazy until it works. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure people were like, personal computers? I don't think so, Bill Gates.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Of course.
Yeah.
They did. And then he's like, well, we'll see. And now, is he crazy? No, you're crazy until you make it work. And you're crazy if you don't try, because if you live your whole life and you just go, I don't know, it's not time. It's not right. What if I fail? Then what are you doing?
Yeah.
We're already dreamers, right?
We're all going
Latif?
to fail because we're all going to die. So that's the ultimate failure.
Or do we all win because we die?
Oh, that's actually a fair point, because like we achieve stuff because we know it's limited. If it was limitless, maybe we'd just chill out for like the first 1,000 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. You know, part of this book, The Magic of Thinking Big, that really got in my head is I'm young. I'm 34 years old, right? And people think like, oh, well, you know, you got to do things in your 20s. You got to do this. There was a really good section of this book where it was like a 40-year-old man said, I don't know what to do with my life. It's too late for me to start. And the guy asked him, well, when's your working life? And he said, well, 20 to 70. He goes, then you have 30 years left, man.
Yeah.
You're only 40. You're not even halfway through your working life.
Right.
You got all the time in the world. And I've always thought that. I wrote an article last year when I hit my 10-year anniversary of stand-up called 10 Years Down, A Lifetime to Go, where I realized all the major things that I've learned from doing stand-up comedy in this world. And the biggest thing is that I've only been doing this for 10 years. I plan on having a 40 to 50 year career.
Absolutely.
If I've done all of these things in 10 years, what the fuck is on the horizon?
Yeah.
How excited should I be to keep going?
Because we underestimate what we can achieve in 10 and overestimate what we can achieve in 1. Everyone wants to achieve everything in 1 year, but it's like the 10-year span is like what really counts.
For sure.
Like you'll look back in your 10 years, like AGT, Ellen, like comedy, roast battle, like
so many things. And,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of it. And you, as long as you're consistently learning and growing, then you should always be moving in an upward direction. And fuck yes, it is going to take so much longer than you want. But you know, my girlfriend's sister, she gave me this phrase right before we went to Burning Man. My fiance sister, I should say that. I'm engaged now. Hey, Lauren.
Congrats.
Thank you. But she gave me this phrase right before we went to Burning Man one year. And she said, you know what? You're closer than you've ever been. And I always think about that. No matter where you are, you're closer than you've ever been.
Yeah.
So just keep on working towards these things. And if you have clear goals, you will get there. If you know where you're going to be in 5 years, then every decision you make will get you to that decision, because you're not going, I don't know, is it going to be this or is it going to be this?
Yeah. I met this guy, I wish I remember his name, but he had this great saying. He was like, it's not about being... If you're just a little bit better consistently over time, that compounding of effort is like, that's how you make it. It's about being a little bit better than everyone else over time, not just being like, tomorrow I've made it.
No, it's never going to be that. There's I learned this a long time ago. There is no big break,
Right.
right? There are giant bricks that you are going to put in your wall to build your castle, but no, there's not one that's going to be the thing of like, that's your break.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't work that way.
No.
Everything, like you said, is compounding over time. Every single thing you do, every podcast, every open mic, every time you write a blog post, every time you write a new joke, every time you go on TV, all of those things are just adding to this experience that is your total self. And eventually that's when you break through that wall and people go, where did that guy come from? It's like, oh, you haven't seen me quietly building this castle over the past few years.
Right. Because your Kool-Aid moment will just be that one brick that you put on top, and that's the one that sends you through the wall.
Exactly.
But stacked on top of all those millions of other bricks over time, etc.
Right. That's the thing. When somebody gets an HBO special and you've never heard of them, you just go, well, who's that guy? It's like, that guy's been working his fucking ass off to get that HBO special. That's
Absolutely,
who that is.
yeah.
Just because you didn't know.
And there's room for everyone. Like, it used to be like one slot here. Now there's room for everyone to do everything.
Yes, that's very important.
Because there's unlimited consumption.
Yeah.
You know, it can be saturated, and finding like the stuff and getting through the algorithms, etc., can be exhausting. But there's room, and if you want to do it, it's 3 clicks to upload something.
It's a matter of not getting frustrated by the process of it, right? If you make something and it only gets 30 views, don't be frustrated, because who knows, maybe one of those 30 views is someone that in 5 years is going to saw that and go, oh, I'm making this movie now and I know exactly who I need. It's this guy I saw years ago. You just don't know. The reason it takes so long to make it in show business is because you need to make relationships with so many people until eventually everybody rises together. Everybody's making these things. And then you all go, oh, you start cherry picking your friends for all your projects.
Yeah, because people like to work with their friends and people they like. That's the bottom line of it, especially in like a very comedy, which requires 1 to 3 people to do a show, it's like you're not going to work with people you don't like.
No, you're not going to tour with anyone you don't like.
No.
You're not going to be on a film set for 4 months. You're not going to be on a TV show with somebody who's a dick. You hear it all the time. It's just like, we didn't want to work with this guy anymore, so we killed him off the show.
Right.
You
Life's
know?
too short to work with assholes.
Yeah. I mean, what else are we doing other than this? That's what one of the best things about this is, like, watching my friends that I started with doing open mics.
Yeah.
I was on I got asked to be in an episode of Corporate, the TV show on Comedy Central, right? Matt Ingerbrenson and Jake Weissman. I started doing open mics with those guys, and I was they asked me to do an episode. I was on the very first day of shooting the entire series.
Yeah.
And I looked around and I was like, Matt, Jake, you guys are responsible for millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Look at this. You hired all of your friends. You gave Christmas gifts to all of us. This is like, and they're like, isn't it nuts? And I'm like, this is the best. This is why I do this, because watching everyone around me succeed is so beautiful. Watching your friend who used to suck every single time you watched on stage, and now he's getting a Colbert set. You're like, this is the best. Amazing. And that's it. And be happy for everybody so they can be happy for you when you're getting these things.
Absolutely. Speaking of champions, like Julie Seabaugh, who wrote the Roast Battle book, like she was an early champion of the Comedy Bunker show, and then she got Troy on board, and he was a champion of the show. And having those people like champion and be part of like your story and what you're building is great, because it's like you build a network of people who are really doing it and really passionate about it, and those guys are both amazing at what they do. One
of the parts of the Think and Grow Rich book that really resonated with me, because I used to be a guy that was like, I want to do everything myself. I don't want outside help. I don't want to ask for help. I want to be responsible if it fails or if it succeeds. I don't want anybody else to be part of my failures.
Yeah.
And that was more so. It wasn't even part of my success. I didn't want them to be part of my failure, because I didn't want to bring anyone down. And part of Think and Grow Rich is about your mastermind team. You need a team of people.
I got to read this book again.
You need a team of people that get into your head and go, well, you don't, just because you don't know how to do this, I know how to do this. So now collectively, we know how to do this. We're going to elevate. We're going to make things better. And one of the things is like putting those people on your team and getting those people is so important, because you're never going to be able to do everything yourself. So like right now, as I'm preparing to try and pitch this special, I've got a team of people behind me that believe in me as a comedian, and I believe in them as producers and directors and things like that, so that I know that everything I don't know, they're like, okay, this is how we're going to make a pitch deck. We're going to create a sizzle reel for you. We're going to do this. I don't know any of that shit.
Right.
I don't do this, but they do. I have an Emmy-winning producer on my team.
Oh, fantastic.
That like knows, like, don't worry. When we go into these meetings, I know exactly how to sell you, and you know how to sell yourself. And together, we're going to have all the materials ready to go. So we walk in there with full confidence. And that's, instead of me walking alone being like, okay, I know you don't know who I am, but listen to me.
Yeah.
No, now I walk in there going, we know what we want and we know how we need to get it, and it's really not that much money to take us there.
Yeah.
Are you our guy?
You already sold me. It's confident. It's a confidence of like, don't be boring, don't be desperate. That's
sure.
like the two enemies of LA.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Fearless. You are going to fail at so many things, and that's okay. As long as you learn from those failures and you don't let them beat you down. I tell everyone that moves to LA, I'm like, man, tell me, you're gonna have a great first few months, maybe first few years. Let me know when you get kicked in the face.
Yeah.
Let me know when
It'll
you
happen.
really get kicked in the face, because that's when I want to talk to you. Yeah. That's when I want to find out, now what are you going to do?
Right.
And I love when people, because you need it. You need the rejection. You got to learn to love the word no and let it inspire you instead of deflate you.
Right. I love like do you know Lil Dicky, the rapper?
Yeah.
So like this was years ago, but there was a point when like there was a possibility he might be doing like a major label thing or not or whatever, going around town. People were entertaining it. And he had so much power because he's like, I don't really need you, but I'll entertain the conversation.
Yes.
And everyone, like, that is the best position to always
Chance
be
the
in.
Rapper was the same thing,
Same
right?
thing.
Yeah, just he's like, I'm already kind of pretty big.
Yeah, we can have a meeting maybe, but like I'm already over here doing stuff, so like you're gonna have to Andrew Schultz in the comedy world, like I'm already over here doing stuff. Like, yeah, if you want to talk, let's do it. But I'm I'm plowing forward at a rate that's so fast with or without you.
Exactly. The gatekeeper thing is,
That's over.
It is over.
Yeah,
It's non-existent at this point. Anyone can make it at any time by doing their own projects, and it's hard.
Yeah.
And you do need some strokes of luck for sure.
And you got to learn how to do. You got to learn in the beginning, like maybe how to edit, maybe how to do this. You're gonna have to learn a lot of hats.
Yeah.
Or just have disposable income to pay everyone. But
yeah, but you know what, that part of me working my day job. So I edit my podcast, but I don't really want to take the time to learn how to edit like in a computer. I don't have a great computer. Like, I mean, I could buy a better one, but that's not where I want to focus my time. Right. Yeah. So I have a coworker who loves my comedy who edits. And I was like, hey man, I'll give you $20 a clip if you edit these things for me. And he's more than happy to do it.
Yeah.
So then I have that income because I work a regular job. And I also give a coworker like work that he enjoys doing. And then we all get something out of it.
Win-win.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's part of like me, like, working that job is, well, now I met somebody who's willing to do work for me. And that part of my team. Right. Another person.
Because what's more of a job, your day job or learning 7 other jobs?
Oh my
probably
God,
probably more work to learn 7 other jobs as well.
Yeah. And that's, we're already actors. We're already writers. We're already promoters. We're already producers. Like those are things like no matter what, you're going to wear those hats as a comedian. If you also need to be an editor, if you also need to be, just a sound guy, like there's a million things, and if you focus on all of them, then you focus on none of them. Right. You got to pick a couple things that you can really apply all your effort into, so you don't half-ass things and you really take them to where they need to go.
Yeah, to be strong everywhere is to be weak everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's, we know what you're good at and what you're not good at. Find people who are good at it that will work with you, that you can want to be around, that you can help their projects and they can help your projects.
Yeah, I love working with people. When you hand them a job, it's just done. That's why I love Troy so much, photographer. You just give him the stuff. You hire him, he's done. He's going to do an amazing job. You don't have to like worry about it. The guys I use for flyers, like Matty Chimber and stuff, I give him stuff. It's like, it's going to be great. Yeah. And I love, if I can load to someone I trust, I love that.
And that's the beauty of it too, is that like my motion, the guy I was talking about who designed my calendar, he's done every poster I've ever had done for me. He designed my album cover, and I know we're such good friends that I tell him, I'm like, here's the vibe I want. And I told him for I'm recording a new album in April in Pittsburgh, and I said he sent me something and I was like, that's not it. And he said, well, what do you want? And I said, I want inviting and silly. And he goes, okay. And then the next thing he sends me is this hilarious cartoon face of myself with tentacles shooting out. And I was like, there. Like
you got it.
You nailed it immediately. And I knew he would. And I knew he would because he gets me. Yeah. And he also he's so good at his job. Totally. That it all works out.
And we all have things from our past that like we are like, I'm an ex-sound guy, so like the sound stuff is no problem, and then like the video editing I can hack my way through. For a podcast I couldn't like edit your film or something, but to go like 1 2 3 between the 3 cams is like no big deal. So I'm trying to leverage that until I have to pay someone or the pod gets big enough where it's like a no-brainer just to have a third person to like monitor all that stuff.
And that's good because all of that will just lead to more people listening, and also gives you the skill that you didn't have before. I mean, learning a new skill is never wasted time. No. That's how we keep our brains fresh and young, learning a musical instrument or a new language or learning how to edit. Yeah. But sometimes it's like, I have to look at it as like, well, where is my time best well spent? Right. Because at this point, my time is very valuable. Absolutely. And I do need to make the right decisions and focus on the correct things. Otherwise, I'm just wasting it.
How sad are the days when you get so much done, but you didn't write? Like those are like the days that are like, I did this, I edited my pod, I did this, I did a pod, I did a show, but I didn't write.
I'm actually okay with that.
Really?
Here's what I do. I look at, do I do 5 things every day for myself that make me feel good? Yeah. And 5 things include, did I hike? Did I meditate? Yeah.
Meditate's good.
Did I do a podcast? Did I reach out to bookers? Did I do a show?
Bookers.
Like, anything like that, as long as I hit my 5. And now here's the thing. 3 years in, 100% you should be writing every day. Yeah. I'm at a point now where at almost 11 where I need to be writing consistently, but if I miss days when I don't write, it's okay. Because as long as I worked on other things that elevated me as a human. Sometimes it's not even comedy things. It's literally just like, did you go out to coffee with a friend and have a stimulating conversation? Yeah, that's a point. That filled my cup today.
Yeah.
As long as I do 5 things that are healthy for my body and brain every day, then I consider it a good day.
Yeah, that is one of the things you have to do as a comedian in LA is reach out to a booker every day, because otherwise your 3 months from now will be kind of empty.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
LA runs 2 to 3 months ahead for booking shows.
Yeah, and it happens all the time. And if I'm getting for road work, sometimes it's a year almost in advance.
Right.
And so you're setting them avails in a different even like concept of time than you can't even think about yet.
Right.
You're like, I don't even know where I'm going to be right now. Am I still going to be this version of Alex Hooper? Or am I going to be some space dust that shows up on stage floating around with a mustache?
Metamorphosis, Alex.
It could be. I don't know what's happening to me.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's one of the things that's like you do it reluctantly. I think every comedian reaches out reluctantly. It's like part of the job, but ideally everyone gets to a point where you don't have to do that anymore.
Right, but you also have to get over it. People, look, I tell people this all the time. If you don't ask, you're not getting it.
You're not going to get it.
You're not getting it. You're not at the level yet where people are hunting down your door.
Right.
No matter, it doesn't matter how much notoriety I got from America's Got Talent that summer. It doesn't matter I was getting recognized 5 times a day. Bookers are still not coming after me. I have to go after them and say, hey, this is who I am. This is what I did. Here it is. And then it's name recognition. For you to get into a new club as an entry-level headline comedian, guess what? That means they're going to have to kick out one of their people that they've been using for God knows how many years, because there's only 52 weeks in a year. And if you want one of them and you deserve one of them, that means someone's got to go.
Right.
And they're not, unless you're the hottest shit ever, they're not coming after you. You have to convince them, be like, I'm worth it. I will sell tickets. I'm worth your time.
That's back to analog. That's not unlimited spots. That's limited.
That's limited.
That's in the physical world.
Yep. The internet has unlimited potential for you to do whatever you want and grow. Comedy clubs, there's only a couple hundred in the United States. Yeah. And you got to try to break, and a lot of them, you're not going to be ready to play yet anyway.
So you kind of need to navigate the virtual world, so you have virtual currency. It kind of happens in music now. Like radio was like the epitome. Like your song is on the radio. It's amazing. You high five all your friends. You're making all this money. But now to get a song on the radio, what do the radio bookers do? The first thing they look at is your Spotify.
Yeah. How many streams you got?
How many streams? If your Spotify is lagging, they're like, well, what's the disconnect in this story here? Because I'm getting pitched that this is the best thing since sliced bread, and it says 20,000 streams. So like, what am I doing? And same thing with a club now.
Yep.
I would imagine you're getting pitched to do this thing this weekend, whatever. All right, let me check out what he's doing. Well, hold on, his online's not that big.
Right, and my online's not that big.
Doing this stuff.
To be honest, I have a lot of views on a few videos, but my online is not that big. My social media presence is only a few thousand strong for different,
But, I mean, you have the big, like, the first thing that came up was that million clip of you.
Yeah.
When I Googled you. So it's like, okay.
Which helps, obviously. But a lot of clubs, if you don't have that 100,000K following, then they don't pay attention, and that's just part of it, but you just keep fighting. For me, a lot of it is name repetition.
Yeah.
Like 4 years ago, I started submitting for Comedy Central half hours. Was I going to get one? No. But I was like, they're going to see my name again and again. These bookers are going to see my name again and again. So that even if they don't use me now, in 3 years, when something happens that they go, oh, why do I know who Alex Hooper is?
Yeah.
And then they search their emails and go, I have 27 emails from this guy. And then now it's time.
Now you're top of mind.
Now it's time, right?
Yeah.
So I submit for things. I know that I'm ready for them, even if I won't get them. But as long as I'm ready, I will submit knowing that I won't get it, just so that you see my name in the mix, so that I'm in the hat, so that when you do know who I am, then it's a no-brainer for you to book me.
Yeah, because a lot of like humans is like developing like familiarity. Like our first thought when you see someone is like, is this person a threat? Like that's our natural biological state. And so if you get
I think, am I going to fuck this person?
I mean, all right, but you're out there. But it is like our biology says, like, is this person a threat or not? It's like, even if we don't think it, that's what's happening. And so it's like, if you name recognition is part of that, like, oh, like, you ever walk by like the club or something and you see a comedian you know and you're not sure why, like that person's on the path to like name recognition with you.
Yes, very much so. You know how I knew what I was doing well as a comedian is comedians kept running out to me like, Alex Hooper, what's up? And I'd be like, I don't know if I've ever seen you before.
Yeah.
And then I was like, more people are recognizing me than I'm recognizing. And there was a very shift that happened, you know? And I remember, very early on when I was like 3 years in, Eric Andre had done my show a couple times. And one time he goes, hey, I was booking him on. He goes, what's your last name again, Alex? And I was like, really, man? And then I was like, it hurt me a little.
Yeah.
And now that I'm years later, I can't believe that I had any sort of like, I was just like, no, I don't know who I try to learn as many names as I can, but I know 10,000 people.
Yeah.
I can't know everybody's name anymore.
Not at all. When I check people, I usually do the door at the Comedy Bunker. And so when I'm checking people in, even like the people who attend, like, I can't remember if you've been here or not.
Sure.
So I'm usually like, hey, what's your last name again? And then I do it on the Eventbrite. I'm like, gives me their first name. I'm like, hey, what's up, so and so.
Yeah, you have.
Because it hurts people when you don't. It's a natural thing. It's like getting someone's name wrong and making fun of their clothes are the two things that like make people upset. I've seen people dump managers for someone saying like, are you sure you should wear that?
Wow.
Yeah.
If that was the case, I would have dumped a lot of managers. So that's, for sure. And I have dumped a couple, but that's the, at this point, you just can't. You can't get offended by people not knowing who you are, and that's the worst thing when someone goes, "Hey, how's it going?" I'll say, and I'll be like, "We know each other." I'm like, "I'm sorry." Like, please don't take it personally.
Right.
I got a lot going on in my head right now.
Yeah, don't take it personally, especially when you're reaching out for booking and stuff is big too. It's like it's not personal. Sometimes it gets lost in the internet mess. It's part of what it is. Like these people get inundated.
It's one of the 4 agreements.
Yeah.
Right. Have you read that one?
Oh yeah. What are they?
I
haven't read it.
It's don't take anything personally.
Great one.
Always stay true to your word.
Perfect.
Don't make assumptions.
Yeah.
Always do your best.
Oh, I got to read. That'll be my next book.
And that's a super quick one. It's like 100 pages maybe at most. It's
nice.
Such an easy read. But yeah, those 4 things. Yeah, don't make assumptions. Don't take anything personally. Stay true to your word. Always do your best. Like it's little things of just like, if you do then you're gonna live a better life.
Love it. Inspirational.
Yeah.
We usually wrap up the pod with these 2 things. We talk about investing and then a goal for this year.
Okay.
So in terms of investing, it sounds like one of your big investments is investing in yourself, right? You invest in your
100%.
career, you invest in your media.
Yeah, I invest in the life that I want to be living. Mm-hmm. So I think about where I want to go, and I've already achieved so much. I have such a huge, amazing group of friends that support me and inspire me. I have a wonderful fiance. I have these 2 beautiful dogs, and I have great family. I have everything that a person could possibly want. So now it's just a matter of lifting all of that higher so that we all continue to grow as people and as a family and things like that. So I always want to be learning. I always want to be growing. I think that's so important, is that you keep reading books and learning new skills and just really just taking the time out of your day to be with yourself. I started meditating about 1.5 years ago. I do it every day pretty much without fail. And it has de-stressed my life so much and allowed me so much personal time to just think and just be with my own brain and calm down.
That's the plug-in of the phone for the body, is meditating.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, there's a reason why every successful entrepreneur and things like that will be like, meditate, they all do it. Monks for thousands of years have been telling us to do it.
Yeah, that's going to be my goal, stated goal on the pod today, is to get back into meditating, because I have pretty much dropped the ball for at least 4 months. So.
Well, I mean, you got kids, and so I imagine when you try to take 10 minutes to yourself, they're like, Dad, we need something.
I used to wake up and come to the garage and do it, so I can do that again.
Honestly, that's the best time. I get out of the shower, and what helps me is I'll do like 40 or 50 push-ups first, so I exhaust my body a little, so that when I go to sit, I really sink and I go, and then I can really get into it.
I love
Saying mantras every morning and things like that about like, I will make this much money by the time I'm this age. I will do it by doing this, and this.
Oh.
That's part of Think and Grow Rich as well. Like that's a newer one for me, but really investing. But a clear goals this year. I went in, like I said, this year with a plan, right?
Okay.
Not just a desire, but a call to action.
Love
And I
it.
said, I'm going to find a way to get back on TV. I'm filming something big in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, when I get when I get that on TV, I'm going to have something else ready to go. So I'm recording a new album in next month, and that's going to be released right before this TV thing airs, so
Fantastic.
that I get the 1-2 punch. And then the biggest thing is getting this special developed and made.
Yeah.
Is that it's specials aren't special anymore, and it's very, very difficult.
That's a good name for a special.
As many, it's true, and as many of them as there are, as you think there are, they're not easy to get either. Like to really get someone behind you to get a special made takes a lot of work, and you have to really prove why you are unique and deserving of one. And I think with what my team and I have put together, I'm very confident that we're going to make it happen, and that we're going to go in and get the money we need to be able to do this thing right. To really, so again, no walking through the door.
Breaking through the wall.
Break through the wall.
Yeah.
So those are my main goals.
Those are great goals. I mean,
and I already got engaged. I mean,
he's already killing life. He's got dogs. He's got a fiance. He's inspirational.
I have to say it every day because I'm afraid one day that I won't believe it if I don't, but I love my life. I love what I've built for myself, and I'm very fortunate that I've worked this hard and that things have worked out because I've been able to discover who I want to be. And if you know where you're going, you will find the ultimate version of yourself.
Absolutely.
No matter how long it takes to get there.
Yeah, well, I love your positive energy. I feel like we're on the same wavelengths with books and a lot of things.
I love it.
We're even wearing black t-shirts.
I know.
I'll pick up one of
We'll
those.
get you a kimono.
Dude, is that what it is? A kimono?
It's a kimono. Yeah, my fiance makes them for me.
Does she really? That's a good fiance making the wardrobe. I love it.
Me.
It's like Prince. Like Prince looked like he had clothes sewn onto him. Like you never saw Prince off the rack?
No, never.
That's who you are. You're not off the rack. There's another.
I like that. Not off the rack.
There's another album title. Well, Alex, where do people find you?
Very easy. HooperComedy.com, at Hooper Hairpuff on all social media. And if you go to my website, though, you can find my podcast, you can find my video clips, my tour dates. That's the easiest way to find me.
Dude, thank you so much for coming. You're a great friend and a great person, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Latif.
Take care. Bye.